The roar of the crowd hit me like a tidal wave, colors exploding everywhere, rainbow flags whipping in the summer breeze, bass thumping from floats decked out in glitter, and drag queens belting show tunes. I was laughing, high on the energy of New York pride, my hands sweaty in Daniel's as we wove through the throng on Fifth Avenue. Then he yanked me sideways, into the dim mouth of an alley reeking of garbage and freedom, his eyes wild with something I couldn't place. Panic? Desperation? Love? Alex, he gasped, my name a broken prayer, and before I could ask what the hell was wrong, he dropped to his knees right there on the cracked pavement, the parade's chaos spilling in like an uninvited guest. His hands clutched my shirt, face upturned, tears carving tracks through the glitter on his cheeks, and he choked out, I'm sorry, for everything. Marry me. Please, God. Marry me before I lose you forever. I froze, heart slamming against my ribs, the world narrowing to his trembling form and the distant cheers that suddenly felt like mockery. In that split second, every secret we'd buried, every lie we'd told ourselves, cracked open wide, and I realized this wasn't a proposal. It was a confession, a plea, and the bomb he'd just dropped? It would shatter us both. That moment in the alley replayed in my head like a bad loop as I stumbled back onto the parade route, Daniel trailing behind me, his knees probably still scraped from the asphalt. The floats rolled on, oblivious, giant balloons shaped like hearts, shirtless guys and chaps handing out condoms with winks, the air thick with sweat and confetti. But I couldn't feel the joy anymore. Not after what he'd just said. Not after the way his voice had cracked on forever, like he knew it was already slipping away. We'd met 2 years earlier, at a dive bar in the East Village called the Rusty Nail. Classic New York hole-in-the-wall, sticky floors, neon signs flickering, open, even when it was closing time. I was Alexander Hayes, 28, a graphic designer scraping by on freelance gigs for indie bands and queer zines, crashing on friends' couches after my last roommate bailed for Silicon Valley. Daniel was the guy at the end of the bar, nursing a whiskey neat, his broad shoulders hunched like he was carrying the weight of the world in that flannel shirt. Dark hair tousled just right, green eyes that caught the light like they held secrets from some old Hemingway novel. He looked like he belonged in a Patagonia ad, all rugged charm with a hint of city edge. Born and raised in Brooklyn, he later told me, but with family roots tangled in upstate Bible Belt territory. I bought him a drink because he looked like he needed it, and we talked for hours about everything and nothing. The Mets' latest choke, how Giuliani ruined the soul of the city, the way sunlight hits the Brooklyn Bridge at dawn. By last call, we were kissing in the alley out back, his hands firm on my waist, tasting like smoke and possibility. It felt like fate, or at least the kind of reckless New York magic that makes you believe in soulmates after one too many IPAs. From there, it was a whirlwind. Dates at Hole-in-the-Wall to carry us in Bushwick, lazy Sundays binging old episodes of Queer as Folk on his lumpy couch, stolen weekends upstate where we'd hike the Catskills and pretend the world didn't exist beyond the tree-line. Daniel was a high school history teacher in Queens, passionate about the Underground Railroad and the Stonewall riots, the kind of guy who'd quote Frederick Douglass over breakfast pancakes. He made me feel seen, really seen, not just as the gay kid from suburban Ohio who'd fled to the city to find himself, but as Alex, flawed and fierce. But there were cracks, even then. Little things I'd brush off as paranoia. The way he'd tense up when his phone buzzed with calls from mom, always stepping into another room to answer. Or how he'd dodge questions about his family reunions, changing the subject to my latest design project. They're just traditional, he'd say with a tight smile, and I'd let it go because his kisses erased the doubt, because in his arms, I felt invincible. Now, 6 months into what I thought was us building something real, here we were at Pride, the one day a year when the city screamed our love from the rooftops, and he'd turned it into a crime scene. I pushed through the crowd, rainbow beads clinking around my neck, until I found a quieter stretch near a hot dog vendor. Daniel caught up, breathless, his face flushed under the parade lights. Alex, wait, talk to me. I whirled on him, the anger bubbling up hot and fast. What the hell was that, Daniel? You dropped to your knees in an alley like some rom-com reject and asked me to marry you? In front of God and everybody. And then you say sorry for everything? What everything? We've been solid, haven't we? His eyes darted to the side, to a group of parade goers snapping selfies, then back to me. Not solid enough. Not for me. Look, I need to tell you something. About why I'm like this. Why I pulled you away. I crossed my arms, the bass from a nearby float vibrating through my chest. Spit it out. Because if this is some cold feet bullshit before you even pop the question right, I'm out. He swallowed hard, running a hand through his hair. It's my family. My dad, he's dying. Pancreatic cancer, stage 4. Found out last week. And before he goes, he wants me to come home. To Albany. To make things right. And part of that is marrying a woman. From the church. To fix me. The words landed like punches. Albany, upstate, where his folks ran a hardware store and went to Sunday services where the pastor preached fire and brimstone about folks like us. Daniel had mentioned it once, offhand, how his coming out at 18 had torn the family apart, his dad calling him an abomination before kicking him out with nothing but a duffel bag and $20. He'd rebuilt here, in the city, but the ghosts lingered. You're not serious, I said, voice low, the crowd's cheers mocking us. After everything? You're gonna let him guilt you into that? Into pretending? No. He grabbed my arm, desperate. That's why I asked. Because I can't lose you, Alex. I won't go back there without a fight. Marry me, make it real. Show them we're forever. I yanked away, my stomach twisting. Part of me wanted to pull him close, to say yes and flip off his dying dad from a million miles away. But another part, the Ohio boy who'd learned early that love from men like Daniel came with strings, screamed run. This isn't a proposal, Dan. It's a shield. A way to hurt them back. And what about us? What happens when the guilt eats you alive? He looked gutted, like I'd slapped him. It's more than that. I love you. God, I love you so much it scares me. The vulnerability in his voice cracked something in me. I pulled him into a hug, the parade swirling around us like a living heartbeat. I love you too. I whispered into his neck. But we can't fix your family drama with a ring. Not like this. We didn't talk much after that. The parade dragged on, fireworks popping overhead, the air electric with queer joy. But for us, it was the start of the unraveling. That night, back in his cramped Astoria apartment, we made love slow and fierce, like we could seal the cracks with our bodies. But as he slept beside me, his phone lit up on the nightstand. A text from Dad. Come home, son. Time's short. Bring the girl. I deleted it before he woke, my heart pounding. What kind of love starts with lies? The next few weeks blurred into a tense rhythm. Daniel threw himself into wedding talk. Nothing big, he insisted. Just us and a justice of the peace in City Hall. Maybe a backyard barbecue with our friends after. Keep it simple. Keep it us, he'd say, sketching rings on napkins at coffee shops, his enthusiasm a fragile dam against the flood. I played along, because saying no felt like abandoning him to the wolves, but doubt gnawed at me like termites in old wood. My own family was a non-issue. Mom and Dad in Cleveland, divorced but civil, who'd sent a pride flag in the mail last year with a note. We love you, kiddo. Be safe. No drama, no ultimatums. But Daniel's world was a minefield. He'd started taking calls from his mom in the living room now, voice hushed, promising he'd think about it. I'd catch him staring at old photos on his phone, him as a kid with his dad at a Yankees game, grins wide and innocent, and his eyes would glaze over. One rainy Tuesday in July, I came home from a client meeting soaked to the bone, only to find him on the fire escape, cigarette in hand, a habit he'd quit for me. What's eating you? I asked, sliding the window open. He stubbed it out, guilt flashing. Dad's worse. Hospice now. Mom says he's asking for me every day. I climbed out, the metal groaning under us, rain pattering like distant applause. Go see him then. Say goodbye on your terms. He laughed, bitter. On my terms. Alex, you don't get it. If I show up with you, with us, he'll die cursing my name. But if I go alone, the unspoken hung heavy. If I go alone, what does that make us? Don't, I said sharply. Don't even think it. But he was thinking it. That night, as thunder rolled over the skyline, he held me tighter than usual, whispering promises into my skin. We're getting married. Soon. You'll see. It'll all work out. I wanted to believe him. God, I did. But lies have a way of festering, and his were starting to stink. By August, the heat wave had the city simmering, tempers short, and AC units wheezing. We'd set a date, September 15th, a crisp fall Saturday for Central Park vows. Friends were thrilled. My best pal, Jamie, a fiery queer activist with a podcast on intersectional feminism, cornered me at a rooftop party in Williamsburg. Finally, Daniel's a keeper, Alex. That man's got heart for days. I forced a grin, nursing my gin and tonic as fireworks from the East River lit up the night. Yeah, heart for days. But later, buzzed and bold, I scrolled through Daniel's phone while he dozed. A betrayal I hated myself for. But paranoia is a hell of a drug. Buried in his texts, a thread with his mom. He's engaged? To a man? Oh, Daniel. Your father would be heartbroken. Please, come talk. Alone. His reply, 2 days old. I can't, Mom. I love him. But I'll visit soon. For Dad. My blood ran cold. Alone. No ring, no us. Just him, slipping back into the old script. I confronted him at dawn, the Hudson glittering mockingly outside our window. You're going upstate. Without me. He didn't deny it, just sighed like I'd caught him jaywalking. Just for the weekend. To say goodbye. It's not. It's everything. I shouted, voice echoing off the brick walls. You're undoing us before we've even started. What? You think a quickie wedding fixes a lifetime of shame? It's not shame, he shot back, eyes flashing. It's family. My dad's dying, Alex. You think I want this? You think I don't hate every second? Then fight for us. Not them. We stood there, chests heaving, the space between us widening like a chasm. Finally, he deflated. I am fighting. By going. By showing him who I am, halfway at least. Give me this. I wanted to scream, to throw something, but instead I nodded, numb. Fine. Go. But don't expect me to wait around like some supportive sidekick in your redemption arc. He left that Friday, duffel in hand, kissing me goodbye with lips that tasted like regret. I'll call. Love you. The apartment felt hollow without him. Too quiet, too full of ghosts. I threw myself into work, designing posters for a queer film fest, but my sketches came out jagged, all sharp lines and shadowed figures. Jamie noticed, dragging me to a dive in the village for emergency therapy shots. Spill, she demanded, lime wedge dangling from her glass. So I did. The proposal, the dad drama, the solo trip. She listened, nodding, then leaned in. Babe, red flags everywhere. Closet cases don't change overnight. You deserve someone who parades you, not hides you. He's not hiding. I protested weakly. He's complicated. Complicated is code for toxic. She squeezed my hand. Protect your heart, Alex. Her words echoed when Daniel's call came Sunday night. Static crackled, bad signal upstate, and his voice was wrecked. Alex, I'm sorry. It went bad. Tell me. A pause, then I told him about us. About the wedding. He said he always knew. That I was broken. And then he asked me to pray with him. To renounce it all. My throat tightened. And I did. For a minute. Just to hold his hand at the end. But Alex, it felt like dying too. Rage surged, hot and righteous. You what? You renounced me? For him? No. God, no. It was words, empty words. But now Mom knows. She's cutting me off. Says I'm no son of hers if I choose that lifestyle. The line went silent, save for his ragged breaths. I hung up, phone slipping from my fingers. Betrayal, sharp as a knife. Not just his family's poison, but his willingness to sip it, even for a moment. When he got back Monday, eyes hollow, I was packed. One bag, zipped tight. I can't do this, Dan. Not if loving me means hating yourself. He blocked the door, desperate. Please. We can fix it. The wedding is off. The words tasted like ash. Go heal your family. I'll heal mine. He let me go, crumpling against the wall as the door clicked shut. Outside, the city hummed on, taxis honking, steam rising from manhole covers. But my world had fractured. The subway rattled me uptown to Jamie's place in Harlem. Each jolt a reminder of the life I'd just derailed. She buzzed me in without a word, just pulled me into a hug that smelled like patchouli and home-cooked curry. Couch is yours, she said, handing me a mug of chamomile. Cry it out, then we'll plot your revenge arc. I didn't cry, not then. Instead, I stared at the ceiling fan whirring lazy circles, replaying Daniel's voice, empty words. But words have power, especially the ones we swallow. By morning, Resolve hardened in my gut. No more waiting for him to choose me fully. Time to choose myself. Work became my anchor. The Film Fest gig exploded into a full contract. Posters, merch, even a teaser trailer storyboard. Late nights in my makeshift studio, Jamie's dining table, coffee black and bitter, sketching scenes of queer heroes rising from ashes. It felt cathartic, like drawing my own escape. Daniel texted once, "Miss you. Can we talk?" I left it on read, thumb hovering but never pressing send. Fall crept in, leaves turning the parks into fire. Pride felt like a lifetime ago, that alley proposal a fever dream. I threw myself into the city's pulse, volunteering at the Ali Forney Center, helping LGBTQ youth with art workshops. One kid, 17 and fresh from a foster kickout, drew a comic of a boy flying over rainbows on dragon wings. "That's you," he said shyly, pointing to the hero. "Strong, even when it hurts." It did hurt. Nights alone, I'd scroll old photos. Daniel and me at Coney Island, cotton candy stuck in his beard, him teaching me to shuck oysters at a market in Red Hook, laughing when I nicked my thumb. Love like that doesn't vanish, it haunts. But Jamie was right. I deserved more than half measures. Then, mid-October, a curveball, an email from Daniel's mom. "Alexander, Daniel's asked me not to contact you, but I must. Your influence. It's destroying him. Come to Albany. Let's talk woman to man. End this before it's too late." Attached, a photo of Daniel at the hospice, gaunt, holding his dad's hand, both staring at the camera like prisoners in a lineup. Rage boiled over. How dare she? I forwarded it to Jamie, who hooped. Drama. Call her out, or sue for defamation. But curiosity won. I drove upstate that weekend, rental car hugging the Taconic Parkway, autumn foliage blurring into gold and red. Albany greeted me gray and unyielding, state capitol looming like a stern uncle, the Hudson sluggish under overcast skies. The address led to a tidy colonial on a side street, American flags on every porch, the kind of neighborhood where kids play kickball and secrets simmer behind lace curtains. She answered the door in pearls and a cardigan, mid-50s, hair coiffed like Jackie O. "Alexander," she said coolly, no handshake. "Come in. Tea." We sat in a living room straight out of a catalog, floral sofa, cross-stitched Bible verses on the walls. She poured Earl Grey with steady hands, but her eyes were red-rimmed. "He's gone, you know. Last week. Peaceful, in the end." The words hit like a sucker punch. Daniel hadn't told me. Peaceful. What a lie. I set the cup down, porcelain clinking. "I'm sorry for your loss. But I'm not here for tea. What do you want?" Her lips thinned. "To save my son." "That proposal stunt at your parade?" It broke his father's heart. Daniel's always been sensitive, but this city's poisoned him. Men like you. Men like me. I leaned forward, voice steel. Loving loyal men? Or just gay? Say it, Mrs. Riley. She flinched but held my gaze. "It's not hate. It's truth. The Bible." "Screw the Bible." I stood, adrenaline surging. Daniel chose love. Chose me. And you? You're the one destroying him, twisting grief into weapons. She rose too, cheeks flushing. "He came here broken. Prayed with his father. Renounced you. Said it himself. Liar. Or half-truth." My fists clenched. "He told me." Empty words for a dying man. "But he came back to me, to us. Until you poisoned that too." Her eyes welled. "He hasn't called in weeks. Quit his job, moved back here. Says he's figuring things out. Alone." The floor dropped out. Moved back? Quit. My mind reeled. Texts ignored. No updates on the wedding. Was this the betrayal I'd feared all along? I left without another word, tires screeching as I peeled out. Back in the city by nightfall, I went straight to his apartment. Key still under the mat, trusting idiot. Inside, half-packed boxes, dust gathering on the windowsill. A note on the fridge, in his scrawl, "Alex, needed space. To grieve. Don't hate me. D. Hate him." I sank to the floor, the weight crashing down. Not hate. Devastation. He'd ghosted me, retreated to the very cage he'd fought to escape. For family? For peace? Or because deep down, he believed their lies? I called Jamie from the stoop, voice cracking. "He's gone. Back to Albany. For good, maybe." Her silence was a hug. "Come home, babe. We'll find you a therapist. And a rebound. Hot ones only. but rebounds felt like surrender. Instead, I dove deeper into work, the film fest opening to rave reviews. My designs splashed across subways, queer faces beaming from billboards. Strangers stopped me on the street. Saw your stuff. Inspired my coming out. It patched the holes, a little. Made me feel like I mattered, beyond one man's war. Thanksgiving loomed, city streets strung with lights, turkey smells wafting from delis. Jamie hosted a potluck. Orphans and chosen family crammed into her walk-up, passing stuffing and stories. I was midway through a rant about corporate pride washing when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Alex? It's Daniel. The room hushed. Jamie's eyes widened. I stepped into the hall, heart thundering. What do you want? To explain. I'm in the city. At the Rusty Nail. Meet me? Please. I should have said no. Hung up. But love's a stubborn bastard. One drink. Then I'm gone. The bar was the same. Dim, divey, a jukebox crooning Springsteen. Daniel sat in our old spot. Thinner, shadows under his eyes like bruises. He stood when I entered, hesitant, like I might bolt. You look good, he said softly. Liar. I slid onto the stool, signaling for a beer. Talk. He exhaled, fingers tracing the bar's scars. After Dad. It hollowed me out. Mom leaned hard. Family first. Honor his memory. I quit the school gig, yeah? Thought teaching kids about history meant facing mine. So I went home. Tried to fit. And my voice was ice. It didn't. Albany's a ghost town for me. Churches on every corner, whispers behind my back. Mom set me up on dates, with church girls, all pity smiles. I played along once, Alex. Dinner. Nothing more. But it felt like choking. Jealousy flared, irrational and raw. Played along. Like with the prayers. He winced. Worse. Because you weren't there to pull me back. He reached for my hand. I let him, just for a second, his warmth a jolt. I realized, I can't live half in. So I left. Told Mom I'm done pretending. Packed a U-Haul yesterday. Back to Astoria. If you'll have me. Hope flickered, treacherous. And the wedding? Us. His eyes locked on mine, fierce. More than ever. But slower. No rushing to prove a point. Just building. If you'll let me try again. I searched his face, saw the boy from the bar, the man who'd knelt in that alley. Broken, yes. But fighting. One condition, I said finally. Therapy. Both of us. And no more secrets. Deal. He smiled, tentative, and for the first time in months, the city outside felt alive again. We left together, arms brushing as we hit the cold night air. Snow flurried down, first of the season, sticking to his lashes. At my place, Jamie's blessing via text, he kissed me soft, like an apology wrapped in promise. I love you, Alex. All the way. In bed, tangled and talking till dawn, he spilled it all. The nights crying in his childhood room, the way his dad's last words, "Forgive me, son," had unlocked something raw. Forgiveness, not for the hate, but for the fear. Mine too, for holding grudges like lifelines. Christmas came quiet, just us in the apartment, tree strung with rainbow ornaments from a dollar store. We cooked, burnt roast, perfect pie, and watched It's a Wonderful Life, his head on my shoulder. This is it, he murmured. Our wonderful life. But life doesn't do straight lines. New Year's Eve, a call from his mom, Daniel's father's will. You need to come. Both of you. Trap or truce. We drove up together, hands clasped over the console. The house felt smaller, air thick with potpourri and unresolved grief. She met us at the door, no pearls this time, just a sweater, eyes wary. Come in. The lawyer droned, assets divided, the hardware store to Daniel, a modest inheritance. Then the letter, handwritten by his dad. Son, I was wrong. Loved you wrong. Be happy. For both of us. Daniel broke, sobs shaking him as I held tight. His mom watched, tears silent. Then, I'm sorry. For everything. Not forgiveness, not yet. But a crack in the door. Back in the city, spring bloomed defiant. Cherry blossoms in the park, our walks laced with plans. Therapy helped. His guilt unpacked like old luggage, my trust rebuilt brick by brick. We rescheduled the wedding for June, Pride Month, small ceremony in the village, friends toasting with craft IPAs. But doubts lingered, whispers in quiet moments. Was this real? Or another round of his family's pull? May hit like a freight train. Wedding invites mailed. My designs etched in gold foil. Tux fittings in a Soho shop where the tailor winked and said, "You boys clean up nice." Daniel glowed. Planning vows over falafel runs. I promised to choose you every damn day. It felt solid, finally, like weed weathered the storm. Then the bomb dropped, courtesy of an anonymous email to my inbox. Subject, your fiancé's secret. Attached, photos. Daniel, arm around a woman, brunette, church girl pretty, at a cafe in Albany. Timestamp, 3 weeks ago. Caption in the body. He told you he was done pretending? Liar. Ask about Emily. My hands shook as I forwarded to Jamie. What the actual fuck? Her reply, confront. Now, then dump his ass. But confrontation meant facing the abyss. I waited till evening, Daniel breezing in with grocery bags, fresh basil for pasta, his signature move. Hey, handsome, he said, pecking my cheek. Rough day. Worst. I shoved the phone at him, screen glowing accusatory. Explain. His face drained of color, bags thudding to the floor. Alex. Shit. It's not. Not what? You with her? After everything. He sank onto the couch, head in hands. Emily. Old friend from high school. Mom set it up, just coffee to catch up. I went to keep the peace, after the will reading. Nothing happened. Swear on my life. Coffee. I paced, voice rising. Arms around each other like prom dates? And you didn't tell me? Again. Because it was nothing. Awkward small talk about her kids, my city life. I left after 20 minutes. Felt guilty the whole drive back. Guilty enough to hide it. The words clawed out, laced with hurt. How am I supposed to believe you? After the prayers, the ghosting, now this? Feels like a pattern, Dan. You dip back into their world, and I pay the price. He stood, reaching for me. It's not a pattern. It's residue from growing up in that shit. But I'm here, with you. I stepped back. Are you? Or is this just the latest act in your prodigal son play? The fight escalated, voices echoing off the walls, him pleading, me lashing, accusations flying like shrapnel. You use me as your rebellion prop. I yelled. Kneel in alleys, plan weddings, then run when it gets real. That's not fair, he roared back, first time I'd seen him truly angry. I've lost everything. Family, job, half my damn soul, to be with you. And you think I'm playing? We collapsed, spent, him on the floor, me against the fridge. Silence stretched, broken only by our breaths. Finally, he whispered. I called it off. With Mom. No contact unless she accepts us. And Emily? Blocked. Done. I slid down beside him, the fight ebbing into exhaustion. Prove it. I will. His hand found mine, tentative. Starting now. We didn't make love that night. Just held on, the city's hum a lullaby. Morning brought apologies over burnt toast, and a joint therapy session where we unpacked the photos. Her weaponizing grief, my fear of abandonment rooted in Ohio echoes, my ex, who'd bailed for a straight life in college. Healing wasn't linear. June Pride approached, the city pulsing with prep, billboards for the march, rainbow crosswalks freshly painted. Our wedding was set for the 28th, post-parade, in a rooftop garden overlooking the route. Invites read, Alexander Hayes and Daniel Riley, vows in the afterglow. But 2 weeks out, another twist. Jamie pulled me aside at a rehearsal dinner dry run, her face grave. Babe, I hate to, but I saw Daniel arguing with his mom on the phone last night. Outside your place. Sounded intense. Jealousy? No worry. What did she say? Didn't catch it all. But he yelled, I won't lie anymore. Then hung up, looked wrecked. I confronted him gently, over gelato in Little Italy. Jamie's worried. About your mom. He sighed, spoon clinking. She's escalating. Threatening to go public. Tell the whole church family about the wedding. Spin it as my downfall. Says it'll ruin me. Get me blackballed from teaching jobs upstate, if I ever want back. The old rage flickered. And you? Tempted? Never. He cupped my face, earnest. But it's ugly, Alex. Her hate. It's not just words anymore. She's hiring a PI. Digging into us. Chills ran down my spine. Why? To save me. Or destroy what she can't control. We beefed up security, changed locks, went private on socials. But the paranoia seeped in, shadows lengthening. Sleepless nights, me sketching dark comics of villains in clerical collars. Him pacing, muttering prayers, not to God, but to us. Parade day dawned electric. Skies blue, crowds swelling from Chelsea to Midtown. We marched together, hands linked, signs reading love wins, even when it hurts. Cheers washed over us, but I scanned faces, half expecting his mom's glare in the mix. The alley loomed as we passed, that narrow throat where it all began. Daniel squeezed my hand. Full circle? Yeah. I smiled fragile. Don't kneel this time. Just walk with me. He laughed, pulling me close for a parade kiss, salt and sweet. But as floats thundered by, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown. Enjoy the show. It's ending soon. Attached, a photo of us, mid-kiss, time-stamped minutes ago. Stalker? Mom's PI? Panic clawed. Dan, look. His face hardened. We're calling it. Cops, after the wedding. But the seed of doubt bloomed. Was this her endgame? Sabotage the day we'd fought for? The rooftop waited at dusk, strung with lights, friends and finery toasting with Prosecco. Vows exchanged under a canopy of stars. Mine. I choose your mess, your heart, every shadowed corner. His. You pull me from the dark. I'll never let go. Rings slid on, simple silver bands etched with forever starts here. Cheers erupted as we kissed, the parade's distant roar our soundtrack. Joy, pure and piercing. Then, as cake sliced and dances spun, a commotion at the stairs. His mom, flanked by two burly church deacons, faces like thunderclouds. Daniel Riley, she bellowed, voice slicing the night. This abomination ends now. Gasps rippled. Jamie stepped forward, fierce. Friends formed a wall. But Daniel went pale, grip crushing mine. Mom, how? Tracked you. That PI? Worth every penny. She thrust a folder, printouts of our texts, photos from the march, even my old Ohio yearbook pics circled in red. Your father's rolling in his grave. Come home, or I'll expose it all. The papers, the school board, your groom's freelance clients. Ruin you both. The party froze, air thick with shock. I felt exposed, raw, like the city's queer heart laid bare for judgment. You destroy your son? For what Bible points? Her eyes flicked to me, venomous. For his soul. Daniel stepped forward, voice steady despite the tremor. No, Mom. For your fear. Dad's gone. I'm not. And this, he pulled me close, ring glinting, this is my soul. She lunged, folders scattering like confetti, pages fluttering over the ledge, into the night. You're dead to me. Deacons grabbed her arms, security swarmed. Chaos. Shouts, flashes from phones, Jamie live tweeting the showdown. Daniel's mom dragged away, wailing curses that echoed off the skyline. In the aftermath, as cops took statements below, we retreated to a corner, foreheads pressed. I'm sorry, he whispered. It's too much. No. I lifted his chin. It's the climax. The ugly truth we faced together. He nodded, tears salting our kiss. Friends rallied. Hugs, shots of whiskey, toasts to fuck the haters. By midnight, the party's pulse resumed, defiant. But her threat lingered. Next day, headlines trickled. Pride wedding crash. Mom's homophobic meltdown. My clients called, some supportive, one dropping me for optics. Daniel's old school emailed. Reconsider your position? Pressure mounted, cracks widening. We hunkered down, therapy intensifying. Betrayal's a cycle. Our counselor said, a no-nonsense dyke from the village. Break it, or it breaks you. Daniel broke first, nights staring at the ceiling, whispering, what if she's right? What if I am broken? I'd hold him, fierce. Then we're both shattered. Glued with gold, kintsugi, baby. Stronger. Summer waned, heat breaking into crisp September winds. The threats eased, restraining order filed, her church shunning the drama. But the scar tissue pulled tight. Intimacy faltered, touches tentative, like testing ice. One October evening, walking the High Line, rails to trails, city lights winking below, Daniel stopped, voice thick. Alex, I can't. The weight, it's crushing me. Us. My heart stuttered. What? I'm leaving. Not for her, for me. To heal alone. Therapy, maybe a cabin upstate. No contact, for a while. The world tilted. After everything, the wedding, the fight. He cupped my face, eyes anguished. Because of it. I love you too much to half-ass this. You deserve whole. Tears burned. Anger, grief, love, all tangled. And if I say no? You won't. He kissed my forehead. You're the strong one. He left the next week. U-Haul loaded. A final note. Wait for me? Or find better. Either way, be happy. Love, Dan. The apartment echoed empty. Jamie moved in. Potluck crew became roommates. I painted murals of fractured hearts mending, exhibited in a Bushwick gallery. Healing, jagged and slow. Winter solstice, a card arrived, Albany postmark. Learning to live without ghosts. Miss you. Healing. D. No return address. No plea. Spring again, pride banners up, alleys blooming with possibility. I marched alone this year. Sign reading Love Yourself First. In the crowd, a flash of green eyes. Daniel? No, just a stranger. But at the after-party, a text, watching from afar. Proud. Always yours. D. I smiled, pocketing the phone. Maybe. Someday. For now, I danced. Free. Whole. The city my heartbeat. Summer 2026 rolled in sticky and unyielding. The kind of New York heat that turns subways into saunas and tempers to tinder. I'd thrown myself into the grind. Gallery shows stacking up, a book deal for my murals, Shades of Us, queer resilience in ink and shadow. Critics called it raw, unflinching, a mirror to the scars we carry. Jamie teased me as the tortured artist, but it fit. Every stroke was therapy, every exhibit a middle finger to the doubts Daniel left behind. He'd been gone 9 months, a lifetime in city years. Sporadic postcards trickled in, one from an Adirondack cabin, sketch of a loon on the lake, another from a queer retreat in Provincetown, scrawled learning to breathe without apology. No calls, no visits. Radio silence, by mutual ache. I'd dated, a barista with tattoos and easy laughs, a curator who quoted Audre Lorde over dim sum, but nothing stuck. They were sparks. Daniel was the blaze that reshaped me. Pride weekend hit, and I almost skipped it. Too many ghosts in the glitter. But Jamie dragged me out, glitter-bombed and stubborn. You march for you, babe. Not him. The route pulsed alive. Drag floats, thumping Gaga remixes, queer elders waving from convertibles, kids in tiny rainbow tees waving flags bigger than themselves. I walked with the Ollie Forney crew, sign heavy, family chosen, not born. Cheers swelled, a balm on old wounds. Then, near the alley, that fateful shadow, I spotted him. Daniel, leaning against the brick, flannel rumpled, hair longer, eyes locking on mine like magnets. He didn't move, just nodded, a half-smile ghosting his lips. My feet faltered, Jamie nudged. Go. Or don't. Your call. I went. The crowd parted like it knew, bass fading to a hum. Up close, he looked. Healed. Lines softer around his eyes, shoulders squared without the hunch of secrets. Alex, he said, voice rough like he'd rehearsed it 1,000 times. You look incredible. Tom does that. I cross my arms, guard up. What are you doing here? Watching you shine. He shoved hands in pockets, vulnerable. I've been working. Therapy groups for queer kids upstate. Teaching again, but on my terms, LGBTQ history electives. Mom, cut off for good. But I forgave her from afar. Wrote a letter she never got. Pride swelled in my chest, unbidden. Good. You needed that. Silence stretched, parade roaring approval. I saw your book. Bought 3 copies. The dedication, he swallowed. To the one who knelt and rose. Me. Yeah. Soft admission. You. He stepped closer, heat of him familiar. I waited. A year, like I promised in my head. If you're free, can we try? No rush. No shields. Just us. My heart warred. Joy, caution, that old pull. What if it breaks again? Then we break together. Glue it gold. I laughed, tears pricking. Kintsugi. You remembered. The alley loomed behind us, empty now. No knees, no pleas, just 2 men, scarred and standing. I took his hand, ring finger bare but warm. Coffee first. Rusty nail. See if the magic holds. His grin broke wide, boyish. Deal. We melted into the crowd, hands linked, the city cheering our quiet comeback. Not a fairy tale ending. No grand gestures, no erasure of pain. But humanistic, real, love as choice, repeated daily. Flawed, fierce, forever starting over. Months blurred into rhythm. Coffee turned to dinners, hole-in-the-wall spots we'd reclaim, toasting to second acts. Therapy continued, joint now. Unpacking his mom's latest stunt, a scathing letter to the local paper, disowned in ink, my freelance dip, a client blacklist that forced a pivot to nonprofit work. We moved slow, his sublet in Queens, my place in Harlem, weekends blending like paint on canvas. Fall foliage painted the parks, and we hiked the Catskills again, packs light, hearts heavy with talk. I almost didn't come back, he confessed atop a ridge, wind whipping. Feared I'd drag you down. You did. I bumped his shoulder. But rising's half the story. Thanksgiving, Jamie's potluck, expanded, his new friends from the retreat, my gallery crew. Toasts clinked. To chosen messes. No drama, just gravy stains and gratitude. Winter brought snow, blanketing the city in hush. We decorated his tree, rainbow ornaments plus a new one, a tiny alley diorama, knees optional. New Year's, rooftop with Jamie's crew, his kiss at midnight tasting like champagne and certainty. Spring 2027, no big wedding redo. Just vows renewed, quiet, in Central Park at dawn. Justice of the peace yawning through it, joggers are witnesses. Rings reclaimed, etched now with round two, stronger. Backyard barbecue after, falafel and faldarao, laughter echoing. Challenges came, of course. His mom resurfaced, dying now, emphysema from years of praying away stress. A call, forgive? Daniel went alone, returned hollow but whole. Said goodbye? For real. My book tour pulled me cross-country. LA readings, Chicago panels, testing the tether. Texts nightly, miss your chaos. Home soon. It held. By Pride 2027, we marched as vets, signs updated. Love wins, then wins again. The alley? We paused, hands clasped, toasting with water bottles. Full as circle, he said. Life settled, not perfect but profound. Daniel's classes thrived, kids writing essays on Stonewall with fire in their eyes. My murals scaled, public art in subways, shades sequels brewing. We adopted a mutt from the shelter, named him Hemingway. Hem for short, stubborn and loving, tripping us on walks. One golden hour evening, rooftop in Astoria, merged lease now, city sprawling below, he pulled me close. Foreheads touching, just like that image I'd once dreamed. Marry me again, he murmured. Every year. Every day. I countered, kissing him slow. In the end, it wasn't the parade or the alley that defined us. It was the quiet choices, the therapy couches, the late-night apologies, the forgiveness doled out in teaspoons. American as apple pie and protest marches. Messy, resilient, deeply human. Love, not as fairy tale, but as revolution. One knee at a time.